This is actually like take two, but we're going to do the Ixalan constructed deck tech. This is for Dimir Pirates. I'm also going to show you a take on Grixis Pirates, which is very close to the same deck. So we'll do both in one fell swoop tonight. And we're not going to take too much more time than that. These decks are near and dear to my heart. They're my favorite things to play in Ixalan Constructed right now. I think they're super strong. Definitely tier 1. These are all my secrets, folks. So here they are for you. I hope you enjoy them. Don't make me regret it. Let's go. So this deck actually needs a little bit of help right now. Well, let's just get started. Up first, I'm gonna highlight the most important cards in the deck. I guess this is the easiest one. Hostage Taker. So we're starting with Dimir here. Never mind that air elemental. Hostage Taker is just one of the best cards in Ixalan Constructed. You should be playing 4 if you have them. That's all I could say. This is your top end. We got a couple other goodies at top end that you can probably see. We'll get to those, but those are more goodies. So the number 1 card is Hostage Taker. Play 4. It's great. It's great against dinos, great against merfolk. Decent against vamps. Not great, but stealing a Maverick Fane or a Adanto Vanguard is pretty decent. Yep, not much to say here. This card's great. Play it. The second most important card is Kite Sail Freebooter. Easy 4 include. It just lets you see your opponent's hand, takes out his removal. As someone said, it feels bad when you see 2 lightning strikes in your hand and you cast Kite Sail Freebooter. But still, it's better than nothing, and at least you know what you're up against. And if they only have 1 removal and you take it, that's great. Another thing is sometimes you'll see like a Vanquish the Weak and Walk the Plank in their hand. In that case, what you want to do is you want to look at their mana base. Oftentimes they won't have that second black mana for Walk the Plank. And I've won games where I've taken their Vanquish the Weak and they never found the second black for the Walk the Plank, and it just sat in their hand all game. So this is pretty much the best turn 2 play you could have in this deck, and you want it every time. Next up, Siren Storm Tamer. One of the major reasons we play Dimir or we play Blue Pirates is for this card. It just is a decent 1-drop. It's a flyer, so it can keep getting in. And its ability, sacrifice Siren Storm Tamer, counter target spell or ability that targets you or a creature you control. So what this means is you can play your Hostage Taker on turn 5 and hold up a blue if you got a Siren Storm Tamer, and then you can protect that Hostage Taker for at least 1 spell. We also do have some Pirate Pump later on, which you'll see. So then this turns into a 2/2 flyer. Pretty decent. Good chump blocker at end of game. A lot of good things you can do with this card. Definitely include. You definitely want to be doing something turn 1 if you can. In Ixalan Constructed, it's a fast format. Waiting around until turn 2 already feels kind of slow, and waiting around to turn 3 feels terrible. So this is a really great way to fill out your early curve, and it just has so many uses. Late game, it is not a dead card at all. All right, and the final reason, main reason we play Boo is Lookout's Dispersal. Play 4 of these. They're great. They're great. It's basically a 2-mana counter spell. Yes, it is a soft counter, but it really takes a long, long time in Ixalan to get enough mana to play a big spell and still hold up 4 for the counter. So it acts as a hard counter most of the time. Hopefully you'll kill them before they have enough mana to do something. Sometimes you play a grinding game and the card is kind of weak, but that is very rare. Often it's just super strong and it's a 2-drop. Even though it's my 3-drop slot, it's basically a 2-drop. Let's go back to Siren Stormtaper 1 second. One thing I wanted to note with this ability, where it says counter target spell or ability that targets you or a creature you control. That means you can sacrifice it to dodge a Settle the Wreckage or a River's Rebuke, because both those spells target you. So that's important to note. Settle the Wreckage is a very important card you have to think about. And you have to think about it a good amount less if you have a Siren Stormtamer and 1 blue. All right. Finish Lookout Dispersal. We'll stick with creatures here. We'll go to Fathom Fleet Captain. This card's pretty sweet. I don't have a lot of them, but it's kind of a must-kill threat. If you have a Stormtamer or Kitesail Freebooter out on turn 1 or turn 2, this card is live. It has Menace, so it can get through, even though it's not a flyer. And it's just card advantage. And those 2/2 Menace tokens are nasty. They're very hard to get around. They're nice jump blockers. They're very good cards. I think this card is very good. I don't have them all yet, but if I did, I'd play 4. We got 3 creatures to go. Rune Raider. This fills out our 3-drop slot. We're playing 4 of these and 4 Lookouts Dispersals. Rune Raider is just a great source of card advantage. Once again, this deck starts pretty fast, and with a Kitesail Freebooter, you can really have a nice card advantage already. The Siren Stormtamer, the Fathom Fleet Captain, the Kitesail Freebooter can all be attacking on turn 3, which means you can proc Rune Raider the turn you play him. Our deck tops out at 4 drops, so you don't have to worry about taking too much damage. We're also playing 24 land, which means a third of the time we'll just get a free land off the top. Totally worth it. Right now I play 2. Perhaps 3 is the right number. 4 might be too much, but I don't think so. It's a 3/2. It trades pretty effectively with a lot of creatures. And I think you really want the card advantage here. Trying to get to a Hostage Taker or some of these other 4-drops, which we'll talk about now. People are pretty afraid of this card because of all the damage they take, but I don't think you should be. As long as you play wisely, this card is just such a boon. And it procs even if you attack with like a single flyer, like a Siren Stormtamer. So you don't really have to risk much to proc it. All right, let's look at our other fatties, and that means 4-drops. This card I've been super duper impressed with. When I first got it, I thought it was kind of mediocre, but it has won me so many games at this point. I can't deny its specialness. It's a 3/3 flyer. The best part about it is that it's flash. You can only block creatures with flying. That's a downside. Sometimes I forget that. and I flash it in to block a ground creature, and then I'm bummed. But generally, it's super nice. Means you can hold up a counter spell, and or a Siren's Ruse, and then play it end of turn. It's good against counter decks because then you can kind of, play it end of turn. If they counter it, then you get your whole main phase and a draw step to play other spells. And it's just such a great tempo card when it triggers the ability of tapping down 2 target non-land permanents. Our deck's pretty aggressive. You can play this turn 5 or turn 6 just for the win. I use it mainly for either tapping down their creatures before attacks or right before the combat phase. This is if they're playing like a charging monster saw or something, or some other big haste creature that you need to tap down immediately. But the safer play is to play at end of turn, tap down all their blockers, and then swing them with the posse, hopefully for the win. I think 4 is a bit much because of the fact that we're already playing 4 hostage takers. I don't think I want to put any more than 8 4-drops in my deck. But maybe someone could convince me otherwise. This card is good. Play it, use it, tell me what you think. And I know this is Dimir Pirates, but I've been having a lot of fun with this card. I think it's definitely worth playing. I think it's better than Fell Flagship. And its abilities are crazy. It's a game winner. And it's not a win more. It can definitely change the complexion of a game. A lot like Rune Raider, it doesn't really have to be in play when you do the attacking for it to proc. You just have to do the attack, and then you can play at end of turn and then get the proc. The worst part of this card is the 3 toughness, which makes it lightning strikeable. And the fact that it doesn't pump itself. So it's always a 3/3. It's also legendary. So that's why we're going with just 1. Functionally, I think Hostage Taker is better almost all the time. Dreamcaller is a little different, but I still think more powerful more often. But the Admiral is worth an include even in your Dimir Pirate deck. Once again, though, I think 1, maybe 2 would be enough. I don't have 2, so I'm not sure. But 2 seems pretty greedy. All right, on to some spells. I guess we already mentioned Lookout Dispersal. It was that important that we put it up there with everything else. Let's go to our 1-drops. We'll work our way through now. Opt. I probably should be playing 4, but just couldn't squeeze it in the deck, so we're playing 3. It really fills out the 1-drop curve nicely with Siren Storm Tamer. Really helps you fight off some mulligans too. Like gives you the ability to not mulligan a hand that you normally would, or let you find that land when you mull pretty hard and might be stuck on lands to find another land. It's instant speed. Awesome. I don't really see playing Pirates without it. I think it's better than Charter Course. And once again, it fills out the 1-drop slot. As you can see, our 2-drop slot is pretty full. So I think it's pretty great. I'd love to fit 4 in. But right now, I only have 3 in the deck. All right. 2-drops. Let's do this one. Walk the Plank. This is our only removal in the deck. It's good. So this is probably the major difference between Dimir Pirates and Grixis Pirates. Currently, I don't believe you should be running Walk the Plank in Grixis Pirates because it is too mana intensive. But in Dimir Pirates, or when you're playing just black, blue, I think this card is fine, and it's probably the best thing you get your hands on. Like if something gets too big to handle and you don't have a hostage taker to steal it, or you don't have them low enough to tap them down with Dreamcaller Siren, Walk the Plank is the card for you. But hopefully you counter most things, and you're just dealing with like a ranging Raptor or an Indanto's Vanguard or whatever. But Walk the Plank is really nice. It can catch you up if you fall behind. And it's pretty darn cheap. It's pretty darn cheap. You could play Vanquish the Week here. That's a 3-drop, but it's instant speed. I'll probably play around with that some more. Or you could sideboard out Walk the Plank for Siren's Ruse, depending on what they're playing. I mean, for Vanquish the Week. And that's it. In the Grixis Pirate deck, I cut it completely and I run Perilous Voyage. This is clearly worse, but it's very hard getting double black, and I'll talk about that in a second here. All right, let's just finish up here. Here's my fun of. Siren's Ruse. One of, fun of. Clearly you could cut this for an opt or a whole bunch of anything. Another Walk the Plank, what have you. But it's basically a flicker or blink spell. It says exile target creature you control, then return that card to the battlefield under its owner's control. If a pirate was exiled this way, draw a card. Since all we have is pirates, that means we always draw a card when we cast that spell. So that's great. The fact that it can get your any card, out of a kill spell is nice. I played a lot of flicker decks, and a lot of times you end up with no creatures and only flicker cards in hand. That's one reason we're playing a one of. But the main reason we're playing a one of is because of Kitesail, Freebooter, and Hostage Taker. And when you blink those cards, they get their ETB again, which means you get to steal another creature if you've already casted the creature from Hostage Taker, or you get to take another card, or you get to exchange spells with your Kitesail Freebooter. If your Freebooter whiffed when it first came out, maybe it can catch something this time. The synergies with Kitesail, Freebooter, and Hostage Taker make it a worthy fun of, in my opinion. And the last spell in the 2-drop slot is One with the Wind. The smaller the card base people have to work with, the more powerful this card is. It's definitely has lost some power now that people have more cards and are playing in a larger constructed format. So eventually this card might be gone from the deck. But Ixalan in general, yo Gemini, what's up? What is up? I'm just doing this deck tech here. We're almost done. I'm just going to continue on here. One with the Wind. What I was saying is Ixalan has a lot of ground-based creatures. The Dino decks are generally on the ground. The Vampire decks are generally on the ground. And the Merfolk decks are mostly on the ground. So One with the Wind is just a way to get above that. Another nice thing with One with the Wind is that +2 toughness it gives, which means it can put a lot of creatures out of lightning strike range. For example, Kitesail Freebooter and Hostage Taker and Ruin Raider. All those cards getting out of lightning strike range is super important. And worthwhile. So right now we're doing 2 include in the deck. Perhaps it'll go away or maybe turn into a fun of. But it also works well with the 2/2 menace tokens that the Fathom Fleet Captain produces. So you got some very solid targets, because then it's a 4/4 flyer with menace, and that's pretty tough to beat. And that is it, folks. Those are all the cards in the deck. That is, what do we got here? 24 creatures, 8 instants, 2 sorceries, and 2 enchantments. And let's look at the land. The land is incorrect right now. In this deck, we are just going to run like this. Dun, 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 dun. For how many lands do we have? 19. We need 5 more. Guess we do. The land still needs a lot of work. The land distribution in Ixalan Constructed is not that great. Let's just make these all look the same, otherwise I'll get confused. Excellent. But blue, black, and Grixis are one of the better colors that you have access to for land right now. Since we're splashing for Beckett Brass, we run 1 Dragon Skull Summit and 1 Mountain. We were warning 4 Evolving Wilds to get that Mountain. But most important to all these pirate decks in terms of land is Unclaimed Territory. So we're running 4 of those. Any of those can get the red we need for Beckett Brass. And we'll already have plenty of blue-black by then. So you're really hoping to play Beckett Brass off the Unclaimed Territory. But we can play 1 Dragon Skull Summit and 1 Mountain just for a little bit of backup. So I think we could probably play even without that Mountain. I think this way the land looks the best to me. Or maybe 2 Dragon Skull Summits. We're really just playing 1 Mountain. The Dragon Skull Summit is basically just a swamp. So yeah, I think this is fine. 4 Drowned Catacombs, 4 Evolving Wilds, 4 Unclaimed Territories, 4 Swamps, 6 Islands, 1 Mountain, and 1 Dragon Skull Summit. And this deck is super reliable, super fun, definitely worth a try.